måske. Det er lidt søsygt det der. Hej. Nu er jeg lidt spændt på, om det virker. Fordi jeg havde lige lidt problemer med min telefon, som som ikke ville gå live alligevel, så jeg måtte slette den planlagte live, der var. Men hello friends. I'm a little bit excited about this. I'm a fairly new podcaster, and I usually podcast in Danish. And then I have some technical problems with going live. And I don't know if anyone is there. Can anyone see or hear me? I don't know if I can see the chat on the computer. Yeah, well, I hoped I could see the chat on the computer, but it doesn't seem like it. Well, then I'll have to check my second phone. Just a second. If I can't see the chat, I'll just do a normal podcast, but it would be funnier if I could have contact with you. Come on. Hi. Hello friends. I can see now that Helle, you are really a friend. You just answered my question. I think I will wait a few minutes. In the meantime, I can tell that I found out that Kayla from Chromatic Creations had some technical issues with her computer, and that's why she didn't upload an episode as planned. I thank you for waiting the whole hour. In Denmark, it's now officially summer. Our summertime started and we skipped an hour. So instead of being 3 o'clock, it's now 4 o'clock. Yeah, I think I will start. As I started to say before, normally I podcast in Danish, and I have not been podcasting for that long, but I like it because I enjoy the interacting I have with my viewers, even though it hasn't been that many. I can see Gudrun Muli, you håber alt godt, maybe. I think you're saying thank you. Yes, everything is fine. This morning, actually, I woke up with a migraine, and I was like, oh no, I promised to go on live in the middle of the night, and actually it's like 24 hours ago I woke up and I had a headache, and I didn't realize at first what it was, but then when I moved around, the nauseousness came, and I wasn't unsure, so I started taking my medicine and hoped that if I went to bed again, I could get it under control, and luckily for me, I did. Normally those migraine episodes can last from 12 to 48 hours, so the sooner I take some medicine, the sooner it will probably be under control. So I was lucky today, it was under control. So, and that's why I can be live now. I slept in the morning so I could be fresh. I have been working on something on this knit-along. Last time I worked on some knitted pants, and I'm actually wearing those pants now. The fall. Today when we started, I was knitting a sleeve, and I think the sleeve is of, squares and triangles. And I had like two triangles and no, three triangles and a square, and the rest I have knitted all night. It actually was this sleeve, I can see, because I actually made a mistake. I will save it from the other side before I crochet it on. And I've been knitting for like seriously for like the last 5 years, and then like 25 years ago I also had a period where I knitted, but at that time I was a beginner. I learned to knit when I was around 5 from my grandma. She actually taught me to knit a pearl in a twisted pearl. I think it's from the back loop. It made a non-elastic fabric. So when I started knitting 25 years ago, that was how I knitted pearls. So it wasn't that good, and it was a friend that said, "You're doing it wrong," and I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm doing it like I was taught. And why are you saying it's wrong?" But it was wrong. um, yeah, and after that I learned to knit pearl, normal pearl, and I can knit a twisted pearl. In Danish it's called, or a pearl through the back loop. And I do it if it's in the diagram, but I do know not to do it. So, but since I knitted my sleeve, I finished my sleeve. I've started to crochet my sweater together. This is called bit by bit, and it looks very strange because there are a lot of colors and all, but it's actually the same kind I'm wearing. That one had bigger squares, and I sorted the colors a bit. This one I didn't. It's my third bit by bit sweater because I think it's funny playing with the colors. Yeah, it turns something on in me. My creative my creative energy can be folded out when I play with the colors. And yeah, I do not buy yarn for a shirt like this. I use scraps or leftovers, yarn that I don't thrift because I don't go to thrift shops, but I do get a lot of yarn from other people who has like a yeah, some yarn here and there they don't have to use. Also, all this is what I got from people collecting scraps for me. The little scraps I put in balls, and I'm gonna make a Lærketbakker Alone Together sweater scrap technique. And then if there's more, now I have made 3. I'm probably not gonna make one more for now. Actually, maybe my colleague said that she wanted one in Christmas colors, so maybe I am gonna do one more. But I need a break. I felt it with the last sleeve. It has actually been missing for 1.5 weeks. I didn't want to knit it. So now this technique is funny, but I need a break. I needed one for a Christmas gift. I needed this one for myself and the other one for myself. But when I buy yarn, I do buy normal yarn. I do buy yarn like this. And I did that for a purpose. I bought it because I got a lot of this, which is the same in another color. And I had I'm going to make a flare sweater in these 2 colors. So that's why I bought this, because I try not to buy too much yarn because I have a lot, because I has been gifted a lot people didn't want, or I actually buy reloved yarn, except for example, this this sweater. I bought the pink yarn. I bought reloved from a woman who didn't want it anyway, and then I found a mohair, not cheap. So even though the pink wool was cheap, the sweater was actually kind of pricey in the end. But I can do that when I feel it's what I want. So because I appreciate when I get leftovers and yeah, reused, then I also get other funny things. I have a friend, she's still my friend, and she called me and she said, well, my grandma died and she had a lot of buttons and all. Do you want them? And I knew her grandma knitted Norwegian sweaters, so she has these buttons. It's metal buttons with the flower. She had them in 2 sizes, and she has had a lot of buttons in colors and yeah, different size and these, and I said, yes, please, I want them. I love that things don't just get thrown away. If I had some clothes with buttons who break and need to be thrown away, I take the buttons off and save them for later or for another purpose, something like that. And then I like to buy yarn that I think is having a good purpose. This is a rescue yarn from Garn Specialisten, and I think this one and this one, the white and the green, are rescue yarn. It's a wool, and there's about 1 kilo, 100% wool, 125 meters for 50 grams. So it's an okay wool. This is alpaca with glitter, and there's some polyester in it, and it's actually the same length. It was I bought this because I needed to make a gift for a friend. And then when I was at Garn Specialist, they have I think Piers showed something almost like it earlier today. They have been making a yarn with a company in the area where they live that takes old clothes that has been thrown away and make the fibers to new yarn. So this yarn is called New Retex textile fiber yarn, and it's 75%. And then I can't see it because it's sitting in there. I think it says something like reused textile fibers, and 15% acrylic and 10% viscose. I don't know what that name is in English. And it's like a summer yarn. It wasn't very cheap, but I wanted to try it. I don't like the color, so I have a plan. When I have knitted something from it, I will try to dye it. And earlier this evening, I heard the Republic of Me telling that she dyed with food color. I could try that. So there's also another company in Denmark, which probably more, but 2 I know of, who buys yarn from factories that's not going to be used, or they don't need to use it anymore. And it's called Garn Udsalg. They were placed in Aalborg, but I think they moved because they closed the shop and now they're only like a web shop. I bought this 2 years ago, and this. And I made my favorite things knitwear sweater number 21. I think this one in a mesh. I actually made one, and I have made this one too, and there is yarn enough for a third. But the problem with this yarn is you don't know what it is because you can't count on it. Um, this yarn is really uh, pulling itself together, so it gets smaller when it's washed, even though you wash it very, very carefully. Uh, and I knew that, so and I could see that in the I have written that the sleeves had to be longer, and now I know they have to be even longer because the old one I had, when I rushed it, the sleeve came to sit like here, um, and that's too short for me. And then I knit this one, and I didn't think about the length at the body because I didn't write anything in the magazine where the um, uh, yeah, where it stood what's but where the pattern is released. So now I think I have to take up the rib and make it longer because I think I made it like 1 or 2 centimeters longer than the pattern said. But maybe I also did that last time, and I know it's short because it was too short, and I actually gifted it to a friend who is a lot shorter than me, and it fitted her. So I had planned to knit on that if I got my bit by bit sweater done. Um, but then I don't know because I have to pick up the linen. Yeah, I also do knit normal clothes from Not Rescue Yarn. This one I knitted from Ella Forslubi. It's from the book Villa Hulu. Um, and I like that too, but it's not as funny, even though it's pretty much it's prettier. No, not that the pink one, but that the clown one. Um, it's prettier, but yeah, I like this one better. It's more fun. It yeah. And then oh, I see there's a lot of people in the chat. Mm, flare sweater, somebody asked. No, you're not going to see the flare sweater because I have not knitted it yet. And I don't think I have the pattern. No, I don't have the pattern here. It's on my iPad. And hi, Cookie from Southern Virginia. Um, and hi, Susan from Colorado, and Gudrun from Germany, and Helle from Denmark, and Karina from Denmark. See, there's a lot of viscose is Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, I think it's called. Thank you. I didn't remember that, but now I know because my grandma had Ryan skirts when I was a child. Yeah, the the Garn specialisten havde us also like this. It's where it's actually from making rocks, for the floor. It's very, it's not 100% wool, but it's very, yeah, very rough. But it can felt, and that's why I bought it because I made a bag that should be felted with these. So and some other colors. Yeah, I actually was thinking about um, what did I want to talk about, and I think that I had planned that. I normally when I do my normal podcast, I talk about what I'm knitting on and what I'm finishing and what I want to knit and all, and what I've bought and show if I've got some leftover yarn. Um, but this is the first time for many of you, and it's also probably one of the last because I don't speak English in my normal podcast. Yeah, so I was thinking a little about the FOMO. You know, when people say they have FOMO, because in Denmark, the spring and there's a lot of knitting festivals, fiber festivals, and a lot of podcasts and say, "Oh, I feel FOMO," and FOMO is fear of missing out. For the one who didn't know that, in Danish it would be like afraid eller bange for at gå glip af noget, afraid to miss out. And actually, I once had anxiety, like real anxiety. So I get a little bit provoked when I hear people using anxiety and fear of missing out, like it's something not important. Because if you have had anxiety, you know that it can be severe. Um, so I get a little bit irritated. I also am telling myself that people don't do it to be mean or um, yeah. So I accept it, but then I also think the fear of missing out, is it real? And yes, for some people it probably is. Because in this age of time where we have our smartphones and computers, and we we are so much in contact, and we have YouTube and we are so much in contact with each other all the time. um, we are constantly reminded that something is happening we are not a part of. And then it's naturally to feel like something is going on and I'm not a part of it. And maybe that's not good. Um, I have read a little bit about the topic, and have seen some videos for some therapists, and I agree that it can be a real thing, but for most people, it's just a feeling like, oh, it would have been nice too, and it would have been nice too. It would have been nice to uh, be able to go to all the fiber festivals in Denmark. There's a lot, and we are a small country. Um, I have only been to like two, I think, and there's like 100. No, I don't know. There's a lot. Um, and it's okay for me because I don't have. I like buying the yarn. I like seeing the hand dyers and meet them and see their yarn and the fantastic colors. But it's okay if I don't. Um, but for some people it's worse. But I don't think it's an actual fear for anyone in the knitting society. Um, I don't believe that. But well, I can't say I'm not supposed to judge other people about that. So I rather not say that they can't have it. I just think it's used a little strongly in if you compare it to real anxiety and real fear. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I had thought about, and maybe some of you have some thoughts about the fear of missing out. What are you fearing of missing out, or what did you just want to go to that could have been fun? Um, I can't see if the chat is moving. I don't think it is. So yeah. Mm. Well, then I will say cheers. I have coffee. Um, I made myself a fresh cup of coffee just before I started, and actually there are sheeps on my coffee cup. And the text says that there walks a sweater. Um, look, there's a sweater walking. That would be the right translation. Yeah. So it's supposed to be funny. um, yeah. I also knit socks and sweaters, and I knitted a skirt. I haven't used it. Mm, I knit bags. I like those, but right now it's buried under a lot of things, so I can't take it out. Mm, but I do not need a lot of gifts, mostly because I don't know anyone who want those gifts. So good one. What do you say? I love the knitathon every year to become new inspired. Yeah, well, I'm actually agreeing with you because I have been following the knitathon for like 4 years. I think it was first time I found it 4 years ago. And I do like it, but I didn't feel like I have a fear of missing out. But then I saw there was an empty slot, and then I wrote Pia the other day. Pia, is that empty slot? I would like to participate. Um, so maybe that was kind of a fear of missing out. No, no, it wasn't. It would have been okay if she said no. It's yeah, whatever. um, Good. I'm curious. Where in Germany are you from? Because I know Germany is a pretty big country, not compared to the United States of America, but in Europe it's a big country. Maybe it's Munich. Um, yeah. Well, I do not. I love Berlin. I have been to Berlin for like the first time I went to Berlin was in 1990, I think. Um, Yeah, I think it was 1990. And it was a very, very special feeling. Okay, so you are very close to Denmark, when you live in Vande, I can't say that in Germany, Vanderup, very close to the border of Denmark. Okay. Well, I was in Berlin in like 1990 when it was still a part of East Germany, but there was no wall. The wall has been teared down. I actually sat and saw the wall being teared down on Danish television, stunned. And then when my father, I was like 14, 15, 14, and my father came and told me, "You have to go to bed." And I was like, "No, Daddy, that one, it's history." And he said, well, "It's just a demonstration. Go to bed." "No, it's history. I have to see it." And it was history. I remembered, I don't remember the date, but I remember it very clearly. It was, yeah, I get tears in my eyes every time I see it on television again because it was so big that Germany was united. At first, it was just the wall was teared down, and then it was united as a country, I think 1.5 year later. And the new capital became, or the old capital became the new capital, Berlin. And I had been to Berlin at that time. I think I've been there 2 times. And I've been to Berlin plenty of times since. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. It's very historical, and I actually followed a lot of the history in Berlin. Um, the rebuilding of Potsdamer Platz, which was a war zone before, and when the country was divided, there was a wall going through at Potsdamer Platz. So there was city on two sides of a wall, and some houses were wall. And then I actually was so lucky, so I was in Berlin. I think it must have been 15 years celebration of the reunionization. Um, and I was at what's it called, the long street where at Brandenburger Tor. Um, yeah. Oh, sorry. I just saw that somebody wrote in the chat. And well, I was in Berlin at that fest, and I heard Nina singing 99 Luftballon. So yeah, it was very good. And then Gudrun tells a little bit more about where she lives. She speaks fluently Danish. I can see that. Something about a Christmas town. Well, exciting. I'm not the big Christmas fan, but I need to go to Vanderhoek, I can see. And Helle, you think that somebody feels they're not a part of the society if they don't take part of the festivals? And yeah, you kind of have to. I think you're right that it's a feeling that you think, but then not you, but people think they have to be part of it not um to not lose anything. But I think that if you really feel, and that's not just me, I actually heard a psychologist said it too, that if we're really looking at it at the big picture, what is it that we are afraid of not being part of? Because if we are happy, if we have something else to do that day that makes us happy, we will not think about it once more. Maybe we think, okay, I want to go, but no, I'm gonna be with my family at a family reunion. No, well, but if we are alone and we are make clear that we are alone and that we're not part of it, then it will be a stronger feeling. And then Gurli says something about being in a Danish kindergarten, and yeah, okay. And you have been in Ølgod Efterskole, okay. I think my childhood friend's grandparents was from Ølgod, if I remember correctly. I know the name Ølgod. It's a city in Jylland. It's a city, village, whatever. I don't know how big it is. Yeah. Well, guys, I have one more thing, and I want to say thank you to Pia for hosting or for assembling all the podcasters, all the people around the world to celebrate knitting for a day, for a whole day, for 24 hours. I think it's a very big thing that maybe we don't in the day-to-day life think about what big thing it is. So I wanted to say thank to Pia for doing this every year, and especially thanks for letting me be a part of it. And now Helle asked me if I have spun some yarn. Oh, Helle, you've seen my last podcast. Well, I have not spun any yarn since the last time I podcasted, and I can show you because it's not that far away. I'm not very good at it. I have a drop spindle, and I was gifted. Oh, that there went the light. Sorry. It had not. Well, you can't see it. Was a little bit darker, but I think the camera managed it. I was gifted a drop spindle and some cards and some wool because I wished for it, and I tried to spin some yarn, and I'm not very good at it. This is my some places it's good yarn, and then it's very fat yarn, and some places it's not spun very much. So yeah, it's the first try, and I know Hela, I haven't been spinning. Oh, maybe and Gudrun, you're talking about and you had a friendship ply family, I think, foster family, is that right? Yeah, maybe from Kwang, and you also spin yarn. Maybe I'll go to Gudrun and spin some more yarn with her because my attempts are not the best. And what does Cookie say? Thank you for being willing to get up at this. Oh well, Cookie. Actually, I haven't been to bed yet, so I'm not early up. I'm not. I'm very late to go to bed. But I have planned to be the whole 24 hours, and then today I think it's only 23 because of the summertime in Denmark, maybe. Um, yeah, so it's 10 p.m. in your part of the USA. What is 10 p.m.? It's in the nighttime. I don't know, past midnight. No, it's in the before lunch. No, at lunch maybe I think. Susan Willis, you also spin on a wheel. Yeah, well, I would like to nighttime. Thank you, Cookie. um, well, I would like to do that, but I I don't have the space. I live in an apartment in the city, and I have a grown up son who is still living at home because he's he's educating himself to be a sailor. Actually, he's right now he's sailing in the Northern Sea, just in the area around England and Scotland. He's on a ship where they look out for people who work on drilling platforms and windmill platforms. If they fall into the water, they have to be there like an ambulance. Mm. Tak, Susan Willis. Military time, that's much better for me because I haven't got the hang of PM AM. I'm so confused. I have to look it up every time I have, yeah, and actually on my phone I have put in New York. So when I hear something about time in the US, I'll just go to my phone and look at the time, and oh, in New York it's like I think it's 7 hours behind here. So in the what's it called, west coast of the United States, like California, it's much more like 12 hours, I think. Yeah, and Gudrun is crocheting a blanket of her own. Gudrun, do you use a drop spindle or do you have a spinning wheel like Susan has? Susan has a spinning wheel, and I would love to have that, but I don't have the space. That's what I was about to tell before. Not yet. When my son moves out, I do. It's actually kind of hard with the drop spindle. I think it's because you kind of have to have three hands because you have to spin it and you have to hold on the wool and you have to spread the wool, and yeah, I need three hands to spin. So, well, good one. I would really like to see the blanket you are crocheting of your yarn. A bliss spin. Is that like an electric spinning wheel? I will have to look into that. Well, so guys, I really want to thank you for keeping me company. I've been streaming for like 38 minutes now, I can see on the screen, and you are a great company, and thank you very much. And I can see Helle, like me, has been up like, what, Helle, 24 hours now? Or did you take a nap in the afternoon? And also Gudrun is also the same time code, I guess, if you're living in Germany, close to Jutland. It's for two legs when you twin. Oh, okay. You twin with your electric spinner, but the bliss spin is for two legs. So one where you do on a bicycle, maybe pedal. Great. Yeah. So yes. Well, I I want to say thank you for now. I know that it's, it's a little rough because now there will be a long time without podcast because Pia and what's her name? I don't remember. I don't recall her name. Is going on at 6 o'clock in Denmark, and that's 1 hour and 20 minutes from now. And Cookie, what did you say? You plan to try to spin, and you have a spinning wheel and an electric spin. Wow, you both have a spinning wheel and an electric spinner. Wow, I thought that would be pretty much of a uh, pretty much money to use if you don't know if you can. But okay, if you got a good price maybe. Oh, okay, that's not good, Gudrun. I hope that could be better. Gudrun said that she had cancer in her lower back, and the right leg will not do as it's supposed to. Gudrun, I really hope that something will make it better for you through time. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I really hope for you. Um, and Susan, oh yeah, that's an you have a small spinning wheel. I actually saw one, but I didn't. I was too slow because I was wondering if it worked, and then I got a look at it, and then it would have been perfect. It was very cheap. Somebody who sold a spinning wheel for like 300 Danish kroner is like, I think, around $150. Does that make sense? Yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe $200. But I thought it was. Yeah, and Cookie, you bought your spinning wheel. Yeah, exactly. That's why I have the draw spindle. I needed to spin my own yarn. No, actually, it's not the only one. I like to play with the leftovers, and that's also the name of my podcast is Garn og resten. In Danish, if I translate it to English, it's yarn and the rest. And in Denmark, the rest is resten is a name for the rest, but it's also a name for leftovers. So it's a little wordplay with yarn and leftovers, but also the rest. And that's because I plan to use the leftovers to spin with. So actually, this kind of yarn, which is not putting thing together, is spun of old yarn scraps, like short ends. So, do you have and Haley, you have an overlap. It's like a sewing machine. Wow. Yeah, and they're also Cookie, no, my podcast normally is in Danish, but maybe I should make an English episode once in a while. I don't know. How is my English? Um, oh, now my phone is saying I don't hope that went into the microphone. Okay, thank you. Um, I kind of thought it would be okay because I have been working in an international company where we had teams meeting with people from all over the world, and to be honest, I was not the people from UK and not the people from the States, but I was actually better at English than most of the people from everyone from China and some of them from Germany and some of the one from the Eastern Europe. And I had a close work relationship with the people from UK. So I got a use of my English there, but I do miss some words sometimes. Your husband is learning Danish. Wow, he's a brave guy because Danish is pretty hard to learn. I think. Well, I can read Spanish and I can get the meaning of a text in French. I cannot speak French at all. I cannot understand French at all, but I can get the meaning from a text and I can read a text in Spanish, uh, mostly. Um, but I can only say a few lines in Spanish. But yeah, it's just because it looks. And then actually, I'm much better at reading German than I am at speaking it because when I was in school, we had Danish, and then we had English from like the fourth grade, and then from the sixth or seventh grade, we had German. And I'm much better at reading and writing with a dictionary. I could write a very, very nice text because I got the grammar right. But speaking it is another thing. Susan, do you speak? Ah, he has. But what about you? Do you speak any Danish? But I think mm, pretty. I think a lot of Americans have ancestors from Denmark or Sweden or Norway because we had a time where Danish people were immigrants in other countries, mostly Canada and America. I think South America maybe a little bit. Um, no, you don't wish to speak Danish. It's a very difficult language from people who are not born there. Um, we have a lot of the sound is even though I pretty much understand everything a Swedish person say, they don't understand me. Because the sounds we make are much more like it's Dutch people sound more like Danish people, but we don't speak the same language, so we actually don't necessarily understand each other. But I understand most of what Swedish people say, and I understand most of what Norwegian people say. And actually, I also it's not always that I can hear the difference between Swedish and Norwegian. I know there's a difference, and I know they will be very mad at me if I say it, but I'm not always sure what is it Swedish, is it Norwegian, but I understand them, and then when they understand me, I know they're Norwegian because the Swedish people usually don't understand us unless they're from like Malmö or Helsingborg or something in the area of Denmark. So yeah, and exactly, Helle. Mange ord på dansk har many words has more than one meaning. Um, well, you're welcome, Susan. We will take a. You just have to come. I will buy you coffee, or I will give you coffee. Um, mm, do you know where your husband's ancestors are from? Probably Jutland. No. But I think it's pretty good if he can read Danish. He must have been training a lot because that's also didn't not easy. Like I said, Garn and resten is like the rest and also like the leftovers. So well, I think now it's time for a pause and some knitting. I hope you've been knitting while I've been chatting. Um, but I can see you've been very Min morfar var fra I think it's Open Rå maybe. I think there's a spelling mistake, but I think it must be Open Rå, which is a city in Jutland in the southern part of Jutland. Um, And it's you're doing very good, Susan. It's not to mock you or anything, but you have a mor for meget en morfar, or maybe it's a great grandfather, so it's an oldefar. Yeah, I guess he's actually pretty good if he can read and write in Danish, and I think just that you know how to say min mormor var fra Åbenrå is pretty good. Yeah, exactly, good one. Like 30 kilometers from you. So in the other side of the border. He's trying. Oh, he's trying to write. Okay, thank you. So your husband's mormorfar, which I think was oldefar or great grandfather, was from Åbenrå. That's I think it's around 200 220 kilometers from me. Yeah. So it's a bit in Denmark. 220 kilometers is a huge distance, and I think I have heard stories about in Australia and America. It's almost like a trip to the bakery. Moin, Helle. Are you from Helle? Were you from Sønderjylland? But yeah, he has to learn the word moin. Moin, moin. Ah, okay. So not quite Sønderjylland, but oh, sorry, maybe Cookie, maybe it's my fault because maybe I didn't say at all what my name is. My name is Pernille. Um, and when I was younger, my English teachers always called me Pernille because that's the way it's spelled. But I think I don't know if you would pronounce it like that. I do that because I learned it, but I don't think it's the right way to pronounce it. Pernille is like Pernille is like Pernille. And I live in Højtostrup in just outside Copenhagen, in Denmark. I think it's fun with the chat because then I can interrogating with you a little bit more. So you too, Cookie. And I saw you were there earlier. So are you taking doing an all nighter, or are you going to bed now? Oh, yeah, okay. That's a good strategy. I'll try that too. So for now, I will say bye, and I really like chatting with you. It has been so funny, and so you're nice people, and it's funny that people in America wants to to speak Danish, um, and that across the world we do have a spinning interest together and knitting together. Um, have a very great night, day for them who's in Denmark because it's morning. I hope you all has a very good life, and especially you, Gudrun, you take care of yourself. Okay, have a nice one. Bye.